the favorite at 2 to
He's
1.
a terrible bet
On
at 3 to
paper.
1.
I love the odds of these.
So who are we all
It's
picking?
this field that is not a good bet.
They're off.
Hi, everybody. Dan Illman, Mike Beer for BC Focus, taking a look at the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies and the top contenders for the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies. But before we do, check out the BC tournament at Breeders' Cup this year. $1.25 million in the Breeders' Cup Betting Challenge. Of course, it's on November 1st and 2nd at Del Mar. Register today, breederscup.com/BCBC. Remember, tickets still available to the Breeders' Cup. Once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Go to Del Mar, enjoy some nice weather and great racing at breederscup.com. And of course, this year, you've got the Classic is race number 8. Could be an important part of the BC Betting Challenge, where it's the last leg of a pick 5 and it's the first leg of a pick 5. You've got the largest amount of international pre-entries for this year's Breeders' Cup, so it is going to be a betting bonanza. Let's look at the top 5 of 10 for the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies. Head on over to DRF.com/Breeders' Cup for more information and full pre-entries. Right now, this list is in order of morning line odds, which were created by David Aragona. Immersive 3 to 1 on the line. Understandable. She's perfect 3 for 3, and she's a grade 1 winner around 2 turns.
Yeah, and she just, so far, she just hasn't made any mistakes, Dan. I guess that's, one of the things that you would really, really like about her. She's not that flashy. She hasn't run a particularly fast race yet, but she showed in her most recent start that she can stretch out around 2 turns, get a good trip, get the distance, and still win.
And let's watch that most recent race. Of course, it was at Keeneland, going 1 mile and a 16th with a short stretch. And she has the tactical speed to obtain good trips in most of her races, as she did here. She broke from the far outside post, but she didn't lose too much ground. She makes the lead in the stretch, and she's going to hold off Quick Kick, who's sort of rallying on her left lead here. She never really changes over. She's still learning, and she's not far behind Immersive.
Yeah, Quick's very lightly raced. This was a nice little move forward for you. You're right, though, Dan. Just she's got some things to figure out if they're going to press on here to the Breeders' Cup. She's very well bred. She's clearly got some talent, but you just saw her there grinding through the stretch on her wrong lead. Has to clean that stuff up, but she has plenty of time to do so. She's a pretty talented horse.
Scottish Lassie exploded in her second lifetime start. Let's take a look at the grade 1 Frisette. She was the beaten favorite in a maiden race at Saratoga, going 7/8 of a mile. That did not deter trainer Jorge Abreu and the connections for trying the Frisette, a 1-turn mile. They were right. Scottish Lassie wins off by 9, gets a 90 by her speed figure. Now, she's going to have to handle the 2-turn test against some more experienced runners at Del Mar, but she looks like the goods off this effort.
Got to figure for it too. Yeah, listen, there's some things to dissect about this race here, because obviously it's very impressive, just based on her performance. I guess the flip side of that is it really was not much of a field there. There was a very heavy favorite on the morning line for that race who was scratched and just sort of left that race wide open. There was really no competition for Scottish Lassie. Not really sure how much that diminishes what she did in there, Dan. She looked really good. She did it in fast time.
Filly with a home court advantage is non-compliant, 4 to 1 on David's morning line. And non-compliant, trained by Bob Baffert, is a perfect 2 for 2 in Southern California. She wins her debut sprinting at Del Mar. Then she takes the grade 2 Oakleaf around 2 turns. Now, this was a Baffert-dominated race, but it was nice to see non-compliant give a little bit of ground in her first start around 2 turns. She had to work, and I think it's just a nice prep for her experience-wise leading into the Breeders' Cup.
I agree with that. This is a very good filly. Both of her starts are good. This was a really nice performance, stretching out for the first time. The horse that she ran down there, her stablemate, Nooney, is really, really fast. Went a legitimate pace in there, and I just like non-compliant made an early move into it and kept going.
One of the reasons why this year's Breeders' Cup has the largest amount of international pre-entries is that we have a slew of runners coming in from Japan. American Bikini is one of them. She's a daughter of Triple Crown winner American Pharaoh. She's won her last 2 races in Japan in pretty solid fashion. Now, both of those races are sprinting, so this is a big ask. She's shipping all the way across the world, and she's going to have to go 2 turns, but it appears she's got some talent, and more importantly, she has some speed.
Yeah, we'll see how it all plays out. These are the horses you really have to, do a little bit of digging on, try to figure out, as much as you can about them as far as, what their distance capabilities are, maybe what they were racing, what they were facing as far as competition goes over there. On paper, she looks pretty good.
Let's watch 6 through 10 on David's top 10 list for the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies. Lakara's interesting for Mark Cassie. She's really put it all together in her last 2 races. She earned an 84 Beyer speed figure, graduating with easy speed at Saratoga, and then she utilized a completely different running style, rallying from way out of it to win the Pocahontas around 1 turn. So she's battle-tested, and she does have a figure from 2 back.
Yeah, that figure will give her a chance in here. You'd like to see her go forward again as far as Beyers go, but maybe she can do that then. If nothing else, I think you could sort of take heart that her first 3 starts, 5 or 5.5 furlongs. As soon as they gave her a little bit more distance to work with, she really improved. Although the one big figure at Saratoga did come when loose on the lead.
Nooney brings speed to the party, but are you concerned about the distance?
I'm very concerned about the distance, especially when you go back and watch that Oakleaf last time. She did go a pretty solid pace in that race, Dan, but she was no match for her stablemate non-compliant. I didn't really feel like she had a huge excuse there.
Snow White is still a maiden coming in. She was beaten by Quick Kick in her debut. She was whipped by Scottish Lassie last time out. There appears to be some ability here, but this could be too much too soon.
Yeah, she did finish ahead of Scottish Lassie when they debuted in the same race at Saratoga, but it was a mismatch when they met up again last time. I mean, we'll see if these connections want to press on here. I guess we'll see how it all plays out. It seems like a tall order for her.
Could you make a case for Vodka with a Twist, stretching out in her 6th lifetime start for trainer Phil D'Amato? She's looked good in her last 4 races. She just missed in the Del Mar debutante last time out, a race where she emerged with the stretch with a clear lead and just was run down by a Baffert trained runner, Tenma.
Yeah, I mean, she's a talented horse. You wonder how much more improvement she has in her, Dan, and you wonder whether more distance really does her any favors.
Also in Japan, from Japan, is Otomina Shacho. She showed speed last time out, but that was a 3/4 of a mile race. This is a big step up from a maiden event into a grade 1 in North America, going 2 turns. Right now, Immersive is the morning line favorite on David Aragona's morning line for the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies. Learn more, drf.com/Breeders' Cup. Hey, let me give you a hot tip. If you liked the content that you've seen before, click on the like and subscribe button right here. And of course, for more DRF videos like Race of the Days, stakes previews, click on the videos right here.